Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever. This game is from the group stage, or well, I guess it's not groups, but from the preliminary stage of Mountains tournament, the Masters Cup, which actually had one of the biggest prize pools that we've had in FAF in recent times, comparable to the Legend of the Stars tournament that's going to be coming up soon, and comparable to the Galaxy Cup, which was in the summer. So this tournament had, well, it was full best of 3 games, and there was only 10 by 10 and 20 by 20 maps in the pool, and the pool was relatively small, although I think maps are added later on. So we had no 5x5 in this tournament, and we had, I think, 300 bucks for first place. So this is the preliminary. This was also best of 3. So this was to decide who would get into the playoff bracket, the final of the tournament, you could say. And yeah, the prize money provided by Mountain and tournament hosted by Mountain, so a huge thanks to him. So tournaments are really well, you can easily tell the difference when there's a tournament going on or coming up. There's just a lot more people playing the game, a lot more good players playing the game and investing some time. I've also had a ton of Blitz tourneys, mostly thanks to Bloodeer, and he's gotten other people involved as well, so huge thanks to them. And if you want to host tournaments, hosting Blitz tournaments is great, and anyone can do it. And you can basically just copy, paste what Bloodeer has been doing. He's tried a few different formats, which were quite nice. He did the GSL group stage format, best of 3 Blitz tournaments. We need more of that. Less of this best of 1 stuff is what I want, honestly. And just more tournaments in general. So anyway, let's go to the game. I haven't even introduced the players. We have Yudi, the extremely good sentence player, and very good elsewhere as well. One of those top level sentence players that does not just play sentence. He's a very good ladder player as well, up around 2k, and you can see his build is completely countered by what Farms has done. Farms has gone just straight for inties. You can see he has 0 mexes built, and so that means he can get, well, he's saved all that energy to from the mexes to get the inties in the air factory up very quickly. And you see the micro here, he's constantly, so Yudi is trying to move back towards the interceptor so that the interceptor will fly past and have to do a big turn to come back and do more damage. And Farms is microing against that by just constantly trying to turn in a tiny circle with the inti, so it keeps shooting the transport down. So the transport did not really extend its life very long with that micro, thanks to Farms micro. And also you can see the inti shots hit the engineers. This quite commonly happens on Aeon transports, which actually means it's almost like they have more more HP than other transports, because the shots get blocked by the NGs. But yeah, Yudi's build just countered here. He went for the normal transport build with, you know, he built mexes and so on, but Farms completely countered that with his build, and now he's going for his transport. Now what Farms does not have is, well, he's obviously taking his time to transport across here. I may go back to 0. And also his mexes were very late. He has a lot less total mass now, although he has about the same reclaim. He actually has more reclaim but less total mass. He still has less T1 mexes than what Yudi has, and now he has a bomber as well to well, that's a coup de grace on these engineers. At least they're quite well split up, and you can see the Look at the dodging. Leaves quite a nice effect. And those engineers are gonna die. There's no Inti actually coming across here. And oh wow. How did he kill that transport? He had like one, yeah, look, 100 mass killed by that Inti. So basically killed it all on its own. How much is a transport again? In mass, 120. So he killed it basically all on his own. One interceptor. That's ridiculous, and that's really bad for Farms. Farms was feeling a bit greedy. I think he was gonna just drop here. Then he thought, well, I could try and steal this side, which is actually more difficult to take for this player generally, because obviously it's further away, closer to your opponent's base. But well played for Yudi, and I don't understand why Yudi said GG's just as he was shooting down Farms transport. That, I mean, that sounded like a GG that you throw out there when you feel like you've just lost the game. But he just shot down Farms transport, so the game is really fine for Yudi. Now, one thing Yudi is lacking is reclaim. I think early on, I think at the start, your early engineers, you should just click on as many of these massive rocks here as you can, because this is really messy. Because now you're in a situation where it's very difficult to get your expansion. And look at this, we see some reclaim. 3 versus 2. Oh, well, Yudi has a factory, so it's going to be fine for Yudi anyway. He reacted in time just to get one of the engineers gone there. And now there's a lab, so this is fine. There's no bomber here. Without bombers, there's nothing to be done. With bombers, he could maybe have actually created a base here. Without bombers, you can't do shit. It looks like air is pretty even right now. And Farms has successfully dropped the right side. So it looks like we're going to have a split along this axis here. And Farms has a naval factory as well. So yeah, I think you should go for a lot of those rocks early on with the first engineers. Because then later on, when you're at this stage of the game, when you're like 5, 6, 7 minutes in, you don't really have that much time to manually click on all these rocks, and there's a lot of small rocks in between that take a long time to reclaim and don't give as much mass. So when you get into this scenario where transports have been shot down, you can use all that mass to eco, focus on your main base, and then take the expansion a bit later. And you really can eco fast on this map, thanks to all that reclaim, as long as you're grabbing it. And manually reclaiming the big rocks is the best way. I mean, look at all this mass. Wait, actually we can see 3,400 just there. Most of that in the big rocks. Farms doing some nice drops here. Drops one engineer here. Oh, this guy's low HP, so he's gonna die. He loses the reclaim battle. And Farms can capture some mexes, taking some mexes here. And it looks like he lost his transport again. Somewhere. It's difficult to find wrecks on this map, that's a problem. But now we have quite a few units being built here. This bottom is just being used for engineers to grab reclaim. On the right side, you can see a lot of mexes missing for Farms. He's a bit later to get his right expansion than Yudi got his left one. But he's already here, starting to do damage. Capturing mexes. And let's see, reclaim. Farms is ahead on reclaim, but Yudi ahead on total mass. So Yudi doing a better job getting the mass extractors on the map, except, well, until Farms started stealing some on Yudi's side. You can see there's still quite a few on his side that he hasn't taken. Now bombers coming in after the Aurora. There is an anti-air here. The bomber stops obligingly right above it, and it's gonna go down. 2 naval factories for Farms, and he has his first frigate over here wasting its damage on this torpedo defense instead of killing engineers. It's very valuable killing a lot of engineers here. But this is just a waste of a frigate, unfortunately. It's going to leave some mass for Yudi to reclaim. Now we have a lot of Zuis, and some of them are on a transport. 8 Zuis on a Seraphim transport, and more transports coming. Now if we look at T2 mexes, I have a feeling Yudi is going to be ahead on that. He has 3, so not that many. Oh no, wait. He just got his 4th and 5th there, and we're going to see more upgraded now. Time for, yes, T2 Pigeon time. He doesn't really, he actually has like 1500 power, so that is quite a decent amount before making that T2 Pigeon. I think you probably have to, well actually these guys are spending, that's like what, minus 120 power to build these T1 Pigeons. So they're gonna stop soon, and then don't think he'll have any stall while making that T2 Pigeon. Meanwhile, Farms has how many mexes? 1 T2 mex. Where is the eco? Well, there's 2 more on the way. 3 more. 3 more almost there, and 2 more upgrading. Another one here. So we have quite a fair bit, but certainly less than Yudi. And we don't have any T2. Oh, we do have T2 air. Farms already has 2 T2 Pigeons. And he's actually making a 3rd one. Now, why is he making a 3rd one? What is the plan for this ACU? Or is he... I mean, it's not going to be T3 air or something. You wouldn't really rush T3 air, I think, with Seraphim as much as you would with, say, Cybran or UEF, because you don't have the T3 gunship. But and also, if he's rushing T3 air, you would expect him to get some adjacency with the T2 Pigeons, so you can make it a decent amount cheaper for himself. There are so many Zuis just milling around on the right side here. And here come drops. And the first drop gets killed. The second drop is going to die as well. And the 3rd one. And that is mass donated directly into Yudi's base. Not much mass. But more importantly, it's not Zui's dropped directly into his base. At least not live ones. Are Zuis really alive? No, they're not. It's not possible for a robot to be sentient, despite what Google would have you believe. Now Yudi with his commander here defending this choke. Farms holding the choke over here. You can see the difficulty getting some T1 land past here. It's not really going to happen. All these arties just going to destroy any Aurora that comes close. There's PDs. Walls would make it truly impenetrable, but we don't have any walls yet from either player, unfortunately. Now that would really, you make like 3, 4, 5 lines of walls, and then it gets very difficult. Yudi continues his ecoing, has a couple of P-gens up, no shield, and we have T2 Navy. Reaction from Farms, immediately going T2 Navy now. Let's see, as soon as he saw T2 Navy, he reacts and goes T2 Navy himself. He might need some torp bombers because he is going to be a bit slower to get his Destra out. And also, Yudi has a bit more naval production all in all. T1, 5 T1 factories, adding a few more. Look at the Zuis. Yudi's quite low on HP now, and he has no upgrades. So these Zuis, now what we really need is just a few bombers. You imagine 3 bombers dropping here would kill almost all these Zuis. They're so bunched up, they've nowhere to go. And you can see Farms trying to use bombers, but they're actually not really killing anything, it seems. Or not much, at least. But the Zooies are defending easily, really. There's a nice kill. A few kills there. Yudi just has to fall back. He can't really do anything. I think he should just spam bombers, really. Because it's only Zooies. There's nothing else. There's no anti-air. There's no tanks. There's no scouts. There's just a few engineers. But right now it looks fine for Yudi. And well, it actually looks good for Yudi. He has a death route when Farms is only 50% to Navy. So he took a little while to start assisting this upgrade. And he was probably also stalling. Oh, brutal stall, honestly. And that's probably been like that for a little while. I blame the Zooies, man. Because each factory building Zooies drains about 50% more mass than if it's building tanks. Because the build time, so you can see here, -6. Actually, we can turn on this yoke. Or maybe you can see that, -6. And then if we go to... Well, he's probably not building tanks anywhere, so I can't really check. Maybe Yudi is. You can check there. -3.7. For Aurora. -3.7 versus -6. It's another part of the power of the Zooey. Is the costs more than other arties, but its build time is still low. So we have some T2 landing here. Yeah, we do. We have obsidians. We had shields, but they have since died, and now it looks like we want the air fight. Here comes Yudi. Farms backs away. Does not want any part of that. And now there's 2 Destros, and this Destro is only 70% complete. Still a lack of build power. And this looks very dangerous here. The Zooies have been redirected to try and save the naval game. And there's not that many frigates here to defend. And there's also some flak in here. Well, I see 1 flak. Well, there's 2 flaks, so that will kill the bombers. Should there be any, but it doesn't look like there are. Someday. But most of these Zooies have done sweet fuck all, and there is so much mass. 8,700 mass in Zooies. Could you imagine if he had just like 2 extra Destros and half this army? Now that would be a lot better for him. Oh, the commander under attack from the Destros now. He's dodging. And this cliff saves him. And now we have a Destro. And yeah, he has to retreat. Now Yudi will continue to micro these frigates, so I don't think any of them are going to die too soon. And he can kill a lot of Zooies. And I think he should keep being aggressive with the Destros. He should just go on top of the single Destro, get the torps working, get closer so you dodge. It's harder to dodge. And now you see the torps firing. And they do massive damage, those Aeon torps. So yeah, that's the thing with Aeon versus Seraphim. So Seraphim have less range. So you either want to be outside of the range, you want to keep the Destro here, right in the edge of your range, so you can shoot and not take damage. Or you want to get closer, so you actually get your torp damage going. As well as also making it harder to dodge. And this looks good for Yudi. It looks better and better for Yudi. He's gone T3 land. This died somehow. That's a dead TMD. And that died somehow. Do we have... Is there a TML somewhere? I don't see a TML. But this is... Oh, another Destro maybe getting wasted here by farms. Hopefully not. And a decent amount of build power. Still so many Zooies. But he lost quite a few of them. Look at all the dead Zooies. Killed some frigs, but and prevented the Aeon Navy from just walking and taking out the naval production. So that was certainly valuable, but it came at a pretty big cost. And these Zuis, this is just disgusting amounts of Zuis. Look, they're just mostly chilling. But now we have some nice T2 land. The Ilshavo making some headway. Now there's a, sort of a limit to how far they can go here, because then the Destros will take them out. Unless maybe they can sort of try and use the land for cover, but really there's a limit to what you can do. And actually the Destros are moving this way. There's not really many targets for them to hit, and they're going to be forced back by Zuis, I'm pretty sure. Now maybe we could have seen some Yenzins, the T2 hover. They would be well, they'd be decent. Certainly not as good on land as the Ilshavo. We have T2 on the commander and tactical missile coming up on the commander. If we look at the eco, 23 T2 mexes, no storages except for, well, we got 3-4 of them storaged. Now let's take a look at Yudi, who has a lot more total mass right now, or a decent amount more. 24 T2 mexes, pretty much the same, a lot more storages. Way more storages. Let's look at the mass income, 240 to 175, and now we have the airfight in the middle. And there's no hover flak for either player, and it looks like Farms is going to win this because of all the out of fuel inties for Yudi. Now Farms needs to run away from these out of fuel inties, in my opinion. Oh, they're getting into the fight now, and they might win it unless he runs away, or flies away, I should say. And he does fly away. And then there's some left behind. These poor pilots ran out of fuel. Their mission took too long. Zui's on the right. Ah, look at this. All these guys at the back just can't do anything. Even the guys at the front have not really done anything. They just keep dying. They're just taking fire, forcing the Destros to move away. But yeah, Navy still better for Yudi. Oh, 3 of those just landed on that Destros that was fleeing. That's 3,000, over 3,000 damage. That just landed on that Sarah Destro. Sneaky Zuis from the water are going to take out the Obsidians. And actually we have still the unupgraded commander here on the front lines. That's pretty dangerous, in my opinion. Never know when something you don't expect is going to appear. And there's quite a few Ilshis here. Does have overcharge. Does not have enough energy in the bank to kill that guy in one shot. Now he goes down. And there's another overcharge. Again, tanks it, but has to retreat. Another thing about the Andestro, it can fire 360 degrees with its cannon. And for Sarah Destro to get full DPS out of its lasers, it needs to be broadside. As with many naval boats, like this Aeon frigate, you can see, fires broadside to use both weapons. Sarah needs broadside to use front and back weapons, and well, similar with battleships, with the UEF destroyer. So something to keep in mind when you're microing your T2 Navy and your T3 Navy. Now this position has been run over thanks to T3 land. Sniper is definitely going to force Farms back, and he has to leave, and he has no units now. And there's Harbs moving close. We had a drop here, but there's bombers. Look at the bombers. They're ready and waiting. That is an excellent way to deal with these kind of drops. And so he loses 1 T2 mex to that drop there. virtually nothing. Oh, well, the bombers just murdered that sniper bot. And the commander, which has T2 gun and TML, just overcharges the Harbs, and the Harbs leave. And there's no TMD here. And it doesn't look like he's used the TML yet. At least I'm not sure if he has. He hasn't used it many times. Oh, another air fight. And that is a problem for Yudi. He's lost a lot of inties there. And he has so many out of fuel inties. And Farms just flies into them. But now he's going to try and get behind. But he's actually just taking a ton of fire. But he still crushes that air fight. And that's very important for Farms now that he has air control. He needs to be using it. Now he's done well in the Navy. He's kept himself alive. These Zoes, although they cost so much. Oh my god, that... Look at how many... My game nearly broke trying to... Just look at how many Zoes just died in a single shot there. That was nasty. The bombers are here, but they're kind of being retarded. Not splitting between different Zoes all in the one place. And they all die. That's quite expensive. I mean, they're like 105 mass each. And he had maybe 10 there. That's rather expensive. Still very little storages. If we look at Yudi, let's take a look at Yudi's base. I see a juicy T3 mechs. So suddenly Farms has all the pressure now. Yudi is retreating all the way to his base. He only has 6 Destros. He has some subs, but they're not going to do anything obviously versus the Zoes, and he's losing air control as well. So maybe this T3 mechs was a step too far. He has basically full storages on his T2 mechs except for certain spots. Oh, he actually captured those and upgraded them, so they're Seraphim. But now he's under huge pressure in his navy. The Zoes are pushing forward, and Farms has more destroyers, far more destroyers. And now is the time that he needs to push. He's one air. He has double the navy. Well, maybe not double, but he has a lot more navy, and he has over 200 Zoes. And his aim is to crush the navy and then use that as a staging ground to send all these Zoes through the base and murder everything here. And what can Yudi do against it? Well, he's losing his gunships because he's lost air. He desperately needs to win air control back. Desperately. One thing there is not is floating flak here, and that is a problem for Farms. That would have made this a lot better for him if he had floating flak here. You can see it's just Zoes and Destros. And these Destros are going down fast, actually. The bombers. And now we have an air fight, and again, Farms dominates the air. On the other side, we can see 8 Harbingers, 16 Obsidians. Farms has started making use of his TML, it seems. Or has he? No, it doesn't look like he really has. There's not much dead here. The main base now. The RT has gone, or the RT. The RT has killed the T2 HQ. Yudi on quite low HP. It has to run away from this T2 army that's coming, that's just shooting futilely into the cliff. That's unfortunate. Needs to give a move order here, and now the Zoes need to pour in as fast as possible. He does not have time to wait. The longer he waits, the more defenses there are going to be against them. And now they're moving. There's a lot of power here. Look at all this power so close to the shore. Can be quickly killed. We need... Oh, the T3 HQ has died. And Farm's commander is under attack. He just took out that HQ with the ACU TML. But now all 4 T2 P-Gens are right here next to this T2 army. And he's relying on overcharge to be able to survive here. He has no more vets to get, so no more healing from killing these T2 tanks. There's so many Obsidians putting out massive damage. 3 T2P gens are down now. And he can still overcharge. But he's running out of time. And there's so many obsidians, he just can't kill them all. He's down to 5,000. He's down to 4.5. 480 damage per shot from the obsidians. There's still so many of them alive and he's going to go down. And meanwhile, Yudi's base is just being overrun. His commander is on 4,000 HP. But he's dodging the Zooey fire. There's only Zooies all... Oh my god, if the Ilshivo had given a move order earlier, I think Yudi would have died. But look, his whole base is about to get wiped by Zooies. And that was pretty climactic end to that game. Great start and a great end, I have to say. Well played, Yudi. Maybe a bit greedy on the mexes, but you know, we've all been there. In the end, he pulled it out of the bag. Very large T2, T3 army. Finished the job. So well played. Well played both players, and well played Yudi. This was, I think, game 1 of the best of 3 series, and I'm going to cast some more games from this tournament because it was a great tournament. So again, thanks to Mountain for hosting it, sponsoring it, and all of that. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and tune in for the next one. I'll see you soon.